Make sure, I don't know if you weren't on the call or if you were on the TV, but this whole entire Russia-Ukraine thing is giving not just Russian like hackers, but like every hacker from like Nigeria, China, like everywhere, India, like all of them, like excuses to like really go crazy with like phishing attacks and like hacking attacks.
Yeah.
So really make sure that your passwords are, you refresh your passwords.
Okay.
If you have them in Google Chrome, you could do like a password check. And then also make sure the two-factor is on for everything. So
Okay.
like you sign Google has to like text you something, like make sure that's on for every account that you possibly have.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Good to know. Yeah, I'm seeing people pop on Instagram, spam.
Yeah, Instagram's bad. And then make sure that you lock all your credit scores.
Okay.
It's free. Yeah, just lock it so that basically if somebody makes an inquiry on your credit, they can't see it.
Got it.
And they can't do any hard pulls or even soft pulls. They can't pull anything. Which means they can't open an account.
Got it. Okay. Noted. I'll change all that stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Oh no. Oh, that was work. Okay, I actually am going to turn on the TV so I can hear you guys a little better. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Loud and clear.
Okay, very good. Let me make sure that give it one more minute to see if anybody else wants to show up. I'm going to use the LG TV.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Be good, Thomas. Let me know if you have any other questions, okay, buddy?
Thank you.
Yep. Am I saying this right? Damasio?
Yeah, Damasio, yeah, this is me.
This is me.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Well, if people want to come in, they can come in. One of the main things, I just wanted to get a quick kind of security class in. There were a lot of agents kind of, talking to me and like, emailing me, being very worried. So I figured for those who didn't reach out, this would be something that's good. I am, so I don't think we've ever met in person. Have I met you in person yet?
Talking to Damasio.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm Howie. I'm the IT director here for Larchmont. I'm also an IT director for a couple other Keller Williams brokerages as well, South Bay and West Side. And, I kind of help out with a couple other also. Now, I don't just work with Keller Williams. I work with a lot of different types of companies. Me personally, I work with some private equity funds, some venture capitalist funds, and, some retail and some banking and stuff, but primarily, kind of private equity, ultra high net worth wealth, like ultra high net worth stuff. But I like to do this because my wife is a real estate agent as well, and I like to kind of keep everybody in the know. So there's a couple people on here, so that's good. I'm going to give you guys pretty much the short list of what you guys should really be doing right now. As may have heard when I was talking to Thomas before, there is a very high number of hacking, phishing, malware attack, denial of service attacks. There's a lot of this like technological buffoonery going on right now, right? So I wanted to make sure that you guys are set up as secure as possible within reason, right? So even the most heavily fortified bank with like almost unlimited IT budget can be hacked. That the bottom line is that when things get very complicated, simple things as simple as like somebody leaving their password on their computer, that breaks all of the security, right? Like, so for you guys are all your own business. So I want to make sure that you guys follow basic kind of steps to make sure that you are secured as possible. Hey, Terry. Hey, Ian. Thanks for joining. We haven't really gone through that much. I'm just kind of introducing myself. So basically what's going on right now is everybody's getting potentially hacked or potentially phished. You'll get an email that says, oh, like, we've seen the old emails like, oh, hey, I'm some prince from Zimbabwe, and if you help me send over $6,000, I'll give you $30 million. And obviously that doesn't work on a lot of people right now, but they've gotten a lot more advanced with that. People will send you links that look like it's from Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, and then when you click on it, it sort of looks like the website, but not really. And then you type in your username and password and it doesn't work. Or it dumps you back onto like the actual OneDrive or the actual Google Drive login. And that's when you have gotten phished, right? And generally they collect a lot of this. They collect a lot of these passwords and usernames, and then they wait like 3 to 6 months, and then they sell them, and then people like then use them for nefarious purposes or whatever, and they try to log in everywhere. They try to do bad things, but now it's almost live. It's almost instantaneous. One of my clients, they had their password and username phished. Immediately, they used that password, they used that email address, and went to try to reset passwords on every single one of their retail accounts, their Home Depot account, their Lowe's account, their Amazon account. All of that stuff was immediately attacked within 1 hour of the phishing attack. So I want you guys to be very, very careful about every email that you guys get. So one of the things that you can do is that basically with an email that you get, you can, when you hover over the email address, and I can share my screen for this. I can show you guys how to do this. One sec. One second. Here, I'll just let me open up a good screen. Okay, so I'm going to share my Google screen. Can you guys see my Google screen? All right, so basically, when you look at this, okay, thank you. All right, so this is just a receipt for a camera that, for a trail cam that I'm using at one of my other client's place. So this is a receipt. When you get an email, and I'm just going to use Gmail right now, for example, but when you get an email, you see this there's this from address. When you hover your mouse over it, kind of gives you some information on like, what's there. And you can see like this email address and you're like invoice plus statement plus account, and then like, all this number. And what you can do when you hover over it, you can click on open detailed view, and then you'll see on the side over here that there's this contact. And when you hover over that, you'll see that it's at stripe.com. Okay, the at domain.com. So like at howwec.com, at google.com, at gmail.com, whatever that is the most important thing that you want to look at, right? Because usually what people like to do when they phish emails is that they'll set up fake domains that look like Microsoft domains. It'll be like, micro.soft.help.com. And it just doesn't, that looks sort of legit, but it's not legit. So that's the easiest way to make sure that your stuff is okay, is that when you just kind of hover over this and it has an email address, we just want to make sure that the email address is actually real. So like, okay, I'm gonna, we're buying a house. So then like, somebody will email us, and then that's our email. That's my own email. And like you see, these are all the other emails. We have this Jessica Cow person. If you hold over, she replied to us as jessica.cow@usbank.com, right? So that is the reply to address. That is the easiest way to protect yourself from something like that, from getting phished, right? Making sure that whoever you get an email from is an actual legit person or an actual legit email from a particular client or from a particular company, okay? The other things that we can do is, also make sure that especially more sensitive emails, treat it as if it was an escrow email. So, hopefully you guys have all had some sort of transaction. If not, you'll learn about it very soon. When you tell your client, hey, we're closing on the house, you have to send your wiring, or they're going to send you wiring instructions. In those wiring instructions, it's basically always pasted that you should really contact the escrow service to confirm all the wiring numbers, right? Because once you wire stuff, if it goes out, you're not going to get it back. And if you wire stuff, if somebody intercepts your email, which they can do, and they switch the wiring numbers, if you don't confirm with the escrow and you wire it out, you could lose a lot of money. That's what I want you to do with more sensitive emails. Instead of somebody saying, hey, you know what, can I just log into your, I don't know, CoStar or some sort of account, or can you just give me your account real quick or something like that? Call them, text them, make sure, use that second factor of authentication, which is talking to them and, just double verify, right? And that's what we want to kind of get into. I know it's annoying, but for more sensitive emails, I would really suggest doing that. Don't send your passwords and usernames in the same email. I would use two different methods. I would either use your email and send it, hey, this is my username. And if you have to send your password to somebody, text it to them or call them and tell them your password, right? But like, you really shouldn't be sharing your password with that many people anyway. Another thing that I really want you guys to do is to make sure that you guys have your two-factor authentication set up for any of your accounts. So for Gmail, if you were to log in from a new computer, or if you moved your laptop to the office, Gmail is pretty good and like, hey, this doesn't seem right. Can you verify certain information? Or if you have two-factor authentication set up, all you have to do is they're going to say, hey, we're going to send your phone a code. Can you just tell me that code? I want you to set that up for every single one of your accounts. If you think, hey, I'm not on Facebook much, or I'm not on Instagram much, or whatever, I don't care. I need you to set it all up for every single one of those accounts. Because the bottom line is that you are, you are a company. Like you may be a real estate agent, but you are a small business. That's what you are. And especially when you start to become more successful, you draw a bigger target on your back, because therefore you may make more money and people want to scam you out of money or take your money. So what you will be able to do with two-factor is basically, even if you told your password to everybody, it would be way more difficult for them to be able to get into your account because of two-factor authentication, because they would need to intercept the text onto your cell phone. And while that's not impossible, it's a lot harder to do. And yeah. And by the way, if you guys want to ask me anything, please ask me. Just say something, like unmute yourself and just say something. So another thing that I need you guys to be really diligent about is check your credit, right? Especially if you start like an S corp, or you have like a bank account and like an LLC, because those don't really affect your credit, but they also do. And you want to make sure that you lock your credit scores so that nobody can open up a new bank account right now, because that is a big thing. People are trying to open lines of credit, or people are trying to open bank accounts under other people's names so that they can accrue debt and then blame it on you. So make sure that you lock your credit. If you lock all 3 credit bureaus, nobody can do anything. It's like very difficult for them to do anything. Those are like the 3 simplest things to do. Okay, check whoever is sending you the email or the text message. I should have expanded to text message. Text messages are getting hacked right now, so you'll get a text message from somebody that says, I just got a spam call from Gold Gym, right? They spoofed the telephone number, but then when I picked it up, it was some, car warranty service. I'm sure we've all gotten calls from that. But I want you guys to, realize that it's not that hard to spoof somebody's number. So I could spoof a number, or I could just send you a text message from, maybe a different number that you didn't know I had, and be like, hey, it's Howie. Sorry, I'm busy right now, but I can't pick up the phone. I got my wallet stolen when I was traveling. Can you please do me a favor and just send me like a $50 Amazon gift card so I could buy something, right? And that doesn't sound super unreasonable, but it's really weird that that I would ask somebody like you to do it, but you have to be careful because it happens. And people are like, oh, I feel bad for Howie. He's traveling and he just needs a $50 Amazon gift card. No big deal. But they do that a lot. So I want to make sure, again, even if they say, hey, don't try to contact me, you gotta double verify. You want to double verify everything. Any questions so far?
Yeah, Howie, I got a question to you. Just fresh out of the box. I was checking my bank statement, actually my credit card statement, a day ago. And all of a sudden, I noticed there were some fraudulent charges in my account. And I proceeded to call actually in the itemized charges that were posted in the statement. He said a number, and I called the number and asked him why is that those charges were posted, because to my knowledge, I never authorized them at all. So obviously I request to have it refunded. And afterwards, I called the bank and notify them that those charges were posted on my credit card. So what the bank did was, proceed to block the account, and they told me there's going to be another one. But my question to you is this: is that going to affect my credit score?
That's a great question. I'm not a banker. I am not a loan officer. I am not anybody who works with credit, although I understand it. Something like that will not affect your credit score. The only things that affect your credit score is if you miss payments, and generally if it's for over 30 days. The biggest credit score, obviously, if you don't pay your mortgage, that's gigantic. It weighs a lot heavier. If you don't pay your credit card bills, for over 30 days, that's really when it starts to affect your credit. Other things that affect your credit, if they have a lot of fraudulent charges, what ends up happening is that it uses more of your available, your rolling credit, your available credit. And if it goes over a certain threshold, generally around 33%, it negatively affects your credit. So let's say you have, two cards that are $5,000 a piece and you have $10,000 credit. If you carry a balance of more than $3,500 or $4,000, it will negatively affect your credit. If you constantly roll around with like $9,000 in credit card debt out of the $10,000 available credit, that will negatively affect your credit. These incidents of them fraudulently charging your account, that won't affect your credit unless you look at it and you don't see it for a couple months, and there are a couple $1,000 charges, and basically you go over a particular threshold.
So then, if they post those charges on my credit card account, didn't they get any access to my personal information, or how did they get that?
Right. So there are the three most popular ways to get credit card, to basically have fraudulent charges on your credit card. One, the easiest thing is just get your information. So like if they hacked, basically, like Target got hacked a while ago, right? It was big news. I mean, a lot of big companies got hacked. Target was one of the biggest ones. Their credit card processor used a third-party company to deal with like moving the data from one credit card processor to another or something like that. And basically, there was a leak in how they did it, and then they had a ton of people's credit cards. Those numbers are stored on file, right? So it's easy for you to buy your stuff again. That means it's also easy for somebody to just take your information, right? So your credit card number was leaked from either one of those things. And it has your CCV. Well, it used to have your CCV, which is a 3-letter or the 3-digit or 4-digit on front of the Amex code, and then it also has like your expiration date and then your billing address, right? That's all you need. If I gave you all that information, it doesn't matter who's sitting in front of a computer, it will approve it because all the information is correct.
Thank you.
So that's one way. The second way is there are skimmers that, like, if you ever give your credit card to a like a waiter, or you give it to somebody at a store, or you give it to somebody where they walk away with it and it leaves your site. I generally don't like to do that because they can skim the credit card and just pull all the information from there. That doesn't happen as much, but it still does happen. If you ever go to an ATM, even the ones at the bank, but like if you ever go to one of those small ATMs, like let's say you're running around and like you're at like a little grocery store somewhere, and they have one of those little small ATMs, I always suggest people take your hand and grab onto where you enter the credit card, because they have these little covers that they stick on top that will read your magnetic strip and read the RFID, and then pull all the information and then basically transmit it. Like it looks like it's real, but just yank on it a little bit just to make sure that there isn't a cover on top of the cover. And then the third way that they do it is just straight RFID. That's why some places sell wallets where they have like RFID protection, or they give you like little little pieces of like envelope to like put your card in, and it blocks RFID. If somebody gets close enough to you, you have a touchless payment system. If somebody gets close enough to you, it will set off. They can essentially, copy your stuff. This seems to be a bigger problem in densely populated areas with public transportation, a la New York City, Japan, certain parts of China. People will take RF readers and basically find out where your wallet is and like try to hold the RF reader and then just read the information off of that. While that is still, it's still tough to, because that's like kind of decrypted and everything. It's not that hard to break, and people still do that. So those are the three top ways people get your credit information. Most likely it's you saved your credit card at Home Depot and they got hacked. So the way to prevent that is to never save your credit card in any of those companies, and either use PayPal, which I wouldn't recommend, or just use like a credit card or password manager that will save your credit card and all of your information, and manually click on it to populate in all those whatever the page is, it just auto populates everything there. And then you send it out, and you never save credit cards in those companies and stuff. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Howie, can I ask a question?
Of course.
On the Gmail, usually you're able to filter out some spam email, but sometimes they don't. Can you kind of explain usually how the email filter works? Thank you.
Sure. So with Gmail and Microsoft, like Office 365 or Yahoo, they all have different algorithms of catching spam email. For Gmail specifically, or I should say Google specifically, they have one of the best spam filters out there. How does it work? I can't tell you exactly how it works because it's half machine learning / AI, and the other half is just Google has the biggest aggregate of email boxes versus anybody else. When Gmail came out, people went hard on Gmail, and with more users, they got way more data, and they could see what was spam and what people were marking as spam and stuff like that. And they just had so much more data. So number one thing is, so I guess my question to you before I say anything is, are you trying to not get spam because you're like sending out a lot of emails?
Yes.
Okay, so any email with a lot of links always raises your chances of getting spammed, especially links with referral links. Everything gets a little bit spammy. So Gmail is going to be like, I'm looking at this email and I see all these links for like, oh, click here to look at this house. And then when you look at the link, it's like not a very clean link. It's not like, ianshouses4sale.com / 14430 Normandy Ave. It's like, the MLS.com / XYZ5432, whatever. And all those links, they kind of look spammy and they have referral codes built into them. So then when you have an email with a high number of those, Gmail tends to be like, all right, this dude is sending out spam, and then other people's Gmail will basically start spamming, and then that's no good. And then on top of that, a Gmail is a free account, and Gmail doesn't like getting lots of emails from a free Gmail account because it's very little ways to like verify a Gmail account. In terms of from a technological perspective, if I'm the email administrator for my company abc123.com, and Ian, you're sending me emails from Ian@gmail.com, I have a much harder time verifying that you're actually Ian@gmail.com because gmail.com is a free email service, right? Whereas if you decided to use Ian, like ianabc.com, forgive me, I don't know your last name, but like ianabc.com, then I know it's a domain, and then there are things that you can do, there are keys that you can do, and there are ways that you can verify your domain to basically say, hey, I'm a legitimate person, I'm a legitimate domain and a legitimate company, don't spam me. And then I will be like, okay, I have a higher trust factor, I can see that it was verified these 3 ways, you're probably not spam. You could still send me spam stuff, and my Gmail or my Microsoft will be like, this is getting kind of spammy, but the domain is okay. But if you don't look at it, if you don't click on it, Gmail will literally deprioritize it and just say, all right, yeah, this is just spam, and like, you know, whatever. Sorry, I probably didn't completely answer your question, but like there's no simple answer to it, but there are things that you can do to kind of avoid getting spammed. If you send out a lot of emails, it would behoove you not to send emails from your free Gmail account. If you have any more questions about that, Ian, by the way, you can email me directly.
Thank you, Howie.
I can give you like a quick 15-minute tutorial on like maybe going to Constant Contact, or like, you know, using your KW command to like do things like that. Yeah, I can just kind of give you a quick overview, but then yeah, you would probably want to engage somebody who does marketing for that. I don't do that. Okay. Ooh, we have some more people on. Hello, John Dickey. Hello, Josephine.
Hello.
Hey guys. So we're kind of just, I already went through the 3 most important things. The 2-factor authentication is number 1. Double verifying the emails and texts where they came from, just making sure that you know who they are and where they came from. One other caveat about that is that sometimes your friend's emails get hacked, so it's actually coming from your friend. If your friend doesn't sound the same, reach out to them and call them, right? Like, I've had plenty of my friends get hacked, and then they're like, hey dude, I'm like, you know, they'll be like, can you send me some money? And I know my friend Bob would never ask me for money like that, right? And I called Bob and I was like, hey Bob, why are you asking me for money? It's probably not you. He's like, it wasn't me. So you have to make sure, verify every email if you can, where it came from. Verify every text message that it's actually coming from that person. Pick up the phone and call them or something. Text them, message them on WhatsApp or something. Double verify. That's number 1. Number 2, 2-factor authentication in all your accounts. Make sure you enable it. If you need help enabling stuff, shoot me an email. And then number 3, lock your credit. All 3 credit bureaus right now, they're trying to, you know, open up debt in other people's name. Lock your credit. Call the credit bureaus, or you can just go online. It's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Those 3 credit bureaus. Call them and lock them. It should be free to freeze your credit. This is just to make sure that nobody tries to open up lines of credit or open up any accounts under your name. Very, 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 very important. That is the number 1 thing that is happening right now. Other than that, we've just been kind of taking some questions. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, Howie, I have another one.
Yep.
Sorry that I'm taking too many. A little while ago, well, basically, a question to me, to you is this: how do you proceed when somebody has requested like money, stuff like that, to people that you know and you're not aware of? I'm gonna tell an incident that I had a few years ago. Somebody from Hong Kong was trying to reach out my friends that they took my name and they said that I needed to have money to come back to the United States. I was in another country. Obviously, I was out of the state, but I was not in Hong Kong. And until I came back from that country, a friend of mine just told me that was it you that you were requesting money for such and such? So I was completely unaware of it. So you know, everybody has friends and everybody has, you know, special friends. But in the event that you're not aware of all this situation, how do you proceed?
You can't do too much about it, right? Like because they probably made up a fake email. You know, they made up a free email or a fake email or whatever, whatnot. and they probably ran it through VPN, so you can just report it to the FBI. And it goes further than that because it's like, all over the world, and they could potentially try to go after it. It just kind of gets dumped into their database. The short answer is there's really not much you can do because there's so many easy ways to just hide from it. The not so short answer is you can report it to the FBI, but the chances of them doing anything, unless we're talking about a large scale, like a large scale thing, the chances of them, it may give them some more, it might give them some more evidence, but it's really, it most likely will fall by the wayside. I'm just being completely honest with you. You just need to educate all of your friends and family, right? Like most of them know, and like even your friend was like, hey, I didn't want to not send you money, but like, is everything okay? And most people will do that. There are some people that won't, right? Like my mom would probably be the easiest person to scam because she just cares. She's like, oh, you need some money? Here's some money. And I made sure I locked everything down on her machine because I don't want that to happen. So like it's just education is number one. Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, then I'll end with a couple things. Basically, just make sure if you guys have any questions down the road, if you guys want to, John, do you have a question?
No, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. We're good? Okay. So yeah, just make sure I'll chat my email address. So just, if you guys have any questions about any emails that you get, any text messages that you get, any weird, anything, please, this is what KW pays me to help you guys out with. And while I'm not helping you make money with this particular thing, I'm not helping you, make money. What I am is I'm protecting your business. If you guys were to get hacked and you guys had to dedicate all of your resources and time for the next month to unscrew your credit, to unscrew your bank accounts and all that stuff, that's 1 month of not dedicating yourself to your craft, right? And it is very detrimental to most businesses. Most of these businesses that get hacked pretty bad, literally, if they lose their data or their data gets compromised, half of them close or get very close to closing. So, you guys are real estate agents, you're not as big of a business, but that means you're more susceptible potentially to, to downtime, right? If something gets hacked, you're the one dealing with it, right? And I don't want you guys to do that. I don't want you guys to have to lose money on this kind of stuff and time, right? Because, this time can be spent doing plenty of other things, not calling your bank and waiting online or waiting on a hold for hours at a time. Because trust me, because so much of it is happening, wait times and resolution times for these types of things take forever. So please just email me, guys. Any questions you have with anything, even phone calls. I can't help you with spam calls. But you can at least be like, hey, I got this call from Microsoft. I think it's a scam, but they were asking me for this. No, they'll just call me, put them on hold, call me. You can even email me, and I can even conference call in to make sure that it's legit. I just am here to try to protect you guys as much as I can because right now this is what's happening. Unfortunately, I would love to be sitting here, teaching you a class on, different ways that you can use technology to keep in contact with people, but I can't because this is more important right Anybody else have any questions?
Oh, Javi, can I ask one last question?
Go ahead.
So basically, sometimes I work from home, right? And sometimes I just want to get out of the house, go to Starbucks or Panera. They have free Wi-Fi. There was one time, my friend told me about not doing any transaction on a free Wi-Fi, and I just kind of curious, how do people penetrate the free Wi-Fi and try to find out what other laptop is browsing or doing anything?
So, yeah, so that's a good question, because, yeah, we all kind of travel all over the globe. I mean, we're gonna be traveling a lot more now, especially, as real estate agents, you guys are kind of driving all over the place. When you get on free Wi-Fi, everybody can get on free Wi-Fi, and then I can basically just turn on my network tools and start listening to all the traffic that's out there, right? I don't do that, but I can, and it's very easy to. Now, most of your traffic is all encrypted. Most of the websites that you go to, especially the ones that you do transactions with, they're all HTTPS. That S stands for secure. It has to have a certificate to the website that's updated every year. And then there's encryption that needs to be done. So not any like 13-year-old kid could just open up his laptop, sit in Starbucks, sniff all the internet traffic, and be like, I got your credit card number. No, it's not that simple. That being said, they can still sort of see where your requests are going. So like, I can still see that you're going to Google.com or you're going to Facebook.com. I can see the URLs that you're going to. I just can't see any of the data in that. So with that, it's not a great idea to transmit on the free Wi-Fi. Starbucks is a little bit better, and some of those bigger companies, they're a little better with their guest management system. They don't generally let guests see other guests and all this other stuff. But like certain small coffee shops, they just like have like a regular router that you would have at home, and they just like guest, and they don't have any segregation whatsoever, and everybody's just sort of like free for all and on their own thing. I would run a VPN, or I would, if I go there, I would literally just tether off of my phone. That's just a personal preference. I'm a little bit more, tinfoil hat than most people are. But if you go to Pete's or if you go to Starbucks, I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't be doing financial transactions, and I wouldn't be like, doing that. If you're just looking at Facebook or, browsing the news, that's fine, right? But if you start logging in and doing like, oh, banking stuff, oh, let me deposit my check here. No, I wouldn't do that. I would tether off your phone. So when you travel, tether or run a VPN. And to clarify on a VPN, what a VPN does, it creates a private tunnel, it's called a virtual private tunnel, from your computer to a server out there, and then that server goes out onto the internet. So if anybody locally around you is trying to look at what you're doing, all they see is your connection is just, you have a pipe that goes to a server, and that's it. They can't see anything else. And then the server masks everything else and just says, oh, I'm requesting this website. And then the website is like, okay, it's coming from the server. I'll just send it back to the server, and then the server sends it to you. So VPNs are really good right now, and all the rage especially. Okay. All right, if nobody else has any more questions, I'm gonna end the class. If anybody has a question, speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, I think we're good. Thank you very much, everybody. Again, if you guys have any questions, text me or email me at technology@kwlargemont.com. I want to answer all your questions. I want to make sure you guys are safe. I want to make sure you guys are, humming. I want to see everybody on this team, or I want to see everybody on the security meeting cap this year. That's right. Have a good one, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.